The sheriff didn't just lock himself in the deepest cell, he threw away the key. When the deputy walked in, he found him staring blankly out the window. He begged the sheriff not to do anything stupid, but the sheriff went ahead and said those forbidden words anyway.
I want to go out.
Because no one who'd ever said them had lived to tell the tale. You see, in this future world, humanity had been driven underground. Down here, there was one ironclad rule. Anyone who said, "I want to go out," would be forcibly sent to the surface to perform cleaning duties. But everyone who went topside ended up dead, poisoned by the toxic wasteland above. Still, the sheriff said those forbidden words without hesitation. His wife Allison's mysterious death 3 years ago had left him with nothing to lose. That day, Allison had stood up in the cafeteria and shouted that the outside world was actually full of green grass and blue skies. The ruined wasteland they saw on their screens was a lie. The leaders had doctored the footage to keep everyone trapped down here, forever stripped of any hope of escape. When no one reacted, she shouted those forbidden words.
I want to go out!
And so Holston, both sheriff and husband, had no choice but to personally escort her to the surface. The silo's residents watched Allison's exit through a live feed. After she stepped outside, she used a wool cloth to wipe the silo's camera lens. Everyone got excited, thinking maybe the outside world was finally survivable. But she only made it a few steps before collapsing, unable to move. People's hopes were crushed once again. But only the sheriff knew that before she left, Allison had told him that if the outside world was safe, she'd turn back and clean the camera. So there had to be another reason for her death. To uncover the truth, the sheriff also said those words, "I want to go out." And so Mayor Jans suited him up in a hazmat suit and sent him out. He climbed the long staircase toward the surface world. When the silo door opened, he was stunned by what he saw. The surface was exactly as Allison had described. Green grass, blue skies, even birds flying overhead. He desperately wanted the people in the silo to know the truth. So he ran back toward the silo's camera with everything he had and wiped the dust off with his wool cloth. But the screens inside the silo showed the complete opposite. What the people saw was him walking into that same wasteland. They watched him make his way toward Allison's body. After just a few steps, he felt dizzy and disoriented. The sheriff suspected the real toxin might be hidden inside his hazmat suit. So he did something no one had ever done before. He took off his helmet. But his condition had already deteriorated badly, and within moments, he collapsed next to his beloved Allison. Hope for survival outside was crushed yet again. But one woman realized that the sheriff must have had a reason for removing his helmet before he died. It turned out that just the night before, Juliet had taken the sheriff to an abandoned tunnel entrance. Inside, they found the walls covered with strange drawings and writing. She seemed completely unfazed by it all. Then she led the sheriff through a hole in the wall to a platform. When she turned on the lights, they saw an enormous drilling machine. She figured the machine had malfunctioned while digging downward, which was why previous inhabitants had sealed